I made $9,126 on this single trade. I'm going to show you how right now. So if you come over to my chart, you can see that this is CCL. CCL is a cruise line. It's been battered and abused over the years, but there's always opportunities to make money in CCL. The biggest thing that I noticed, and the reason that I had this trade on my radar was, well, let's zoom out. We have what's called the 50% rule. So you have a stock that this was 2020. This was kind of the high of it. I call it almost $60 a share. Then it dropped to kind of this low of $7 to $8 a share. So you can kind of distinctly see here, there's a level right about here, kind of right about here, where we never, in 5 years, we've never gotten back to those pre-COVID levels. What is all of this that I just drew in up here? This is called overhang. Overhang is negative pressure that's pushing down on the stock. This is the reason that I got into this trade. So you can see what happens here. Stock price falls, stock comes up a little bit. The people that lost money say, if I can get half my money back, I'll just take my loss and move on. Then when they take their losses, what happens? It falls back down again. These people again, if I could just get half my money, it's going to keep going. All these people say, it's going to keep going. Doesn't keep going. The people that say they take half their money back, falls back down. You can see it just can never break that $30 level. Well, notice what we had here. It was encroaching on that $30 level. And I noticed that the volume was not there and it wasn't going to sustain. It wasn't going to be the time in 5 years that pushes through that level. So what did I say to myself? I said, this is going to be a beautiful short that we have an opportunity with. So now that we know what the 50% rule is, we know the reason that I had the trade on my radar, let's go and zoom in on it. And this was a trade that was brought to me from members of the community. We have a couple of people that trade CCL religiously. They love it because you can make so much money because it's pretty volatile. So when this was starting to develop, this was kind of that area where we knew it wasn't going to break through. It tried several times. It tried there, it tried there, it tried there. It snuck through there, but it just couldn't do it. You can see the volume wasn't there to do it. And then we started to have this downtrend. And when we had the downtrend, we knew we were going to enter as soon as we broke this level right here. The entry point was about $23 and change. It was about $23.123, something like that. And we were in it. Now, what happened after we got in it? Well, there wasn't a lot of movement until it broke. And when it broke, you could see that it really started to move down into the sweet spot. Now, there was an interesting caveat to this trade. And the reason that I had to exit it and I had to realize my gain of $9,126, I had earnings coming up. Look at this. So at one point during this trade, I was up about $14,000, $15,000. And I said, you know what? I think that this can go a little bit lower, but either way, I have to exit on earnings because I do not trade earnings. Earnings are a total crapshoot. What does that mean? You can have the best earnings in the world that come out. They beat on revenue. They beat on earnings per share. They crush. Negative news is for forward-looking guidance is negative. What happens to the stock price? Plummets. Doesn't make any sense. So when you have these earnings events, I am never in the stock. Now, a mistake that I made, I probably should have taken profits here or exited the trade here. Why? Because if we just look here to the left, look, we're at a pretty strong level of support resistance that we couldn't get through. This level of support coupled with earnings just a few days away, I probably should have realized it and said, you know what, I'm going to exit the trade. But I didn't. I thought that we would kind of hang around this level. It moved up a little bit. I exited somewhere the day before earnings, but I'm back in it. That's the important thing. So I realized the gain and now I'm back in it. Why am I back in it? Because the trend is still looking really good. I do think now that we have some runway, we can get down to this level again. We can get down to this level. And I'm hoping that we can get down here to $13 or $14. I entered on this engulfing candlestick that happened yesterday. And now that we don't have an earnings event, the sky is the limit with this thing. This is just a support level now. We are at a support level. You can see it's pulling back a little bit. But the way the trend is looking, this is just going to continue to break down. And that's the key and that's why I really wanted to talk about this trade specifically in a video. You can make money on a trade, but you have to exit for earnings. Now, when you exit for earnings, it doesn't mean the trade's over. It means you look for an opportunity to get back into it if the trend aligns, if everything stays kind of the way it was. And that's the case. So if we just pull up the daily chart here, we can kind of zoom in and look, we broke back below that 200. We are clear of that 200. This thing is going to start running down, especially with volume that is this unbelievably weak. There's just not a lot going on there that is going to kind of sustain this thing at the support level. We're going to continue to break down. And I am on the Ferris wheel for that one. So if this looks complicated and you're doing this on your own, you're trying to figure this all out on your own, guys, it can be a very, very lonely road. I was once there. Check out my community of traders just like you. Remember, the community brought me this trade. You'll get the chart setups, the live analysis, the community chat, and of course, access to me 24/7 via the Patreon app. Because like I said before, trading is a lonely road. There's a lot of information out there, and having the right process, having something to follow every day is super, super helpful. And it'll help you to avoid those fatal mistakes, which a lot of people say, well, trading doesn't work. Well, no, you don't have a process that you follow that works on a daily basis for 20 plus years. So check the link in the description below. Access is limited right now. There's a limited number of spots. Now, I created a comprehensive video. It's about 2.5 hours, and you need to go and watch this video because this is just a snippet of what you're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot of little details in this video. Go check it out.